One of the biggest mistakes that course creators make is thinking they have an outline when it's really only half baked. So if you think you might be missing something in your course outline, this video is for you. Let's get it. Step two that we're going to move to right now is course outline, which is essentially the table of contents for your program. Now, this is what we include. I don't know what you include in your course outline. This is what we include. And very simply, what's the title of the module? A module is just a collection of lessons. What are the titles of the lesson? What are the types of lesson we want to include? There's lots of different ways to display information, right? And to help students achieve a result. Most of these are videos, like people think of videos, but there's even different types of videos. It could be you screen sharing like I am right now. It could be you just full screen talking head, a slide deck. It could just be a written lesson where there's no video included. You could do an interview with someone as a way to do a lesson. Like there's so many different types, and it's really all about what displays information the best. And number two is what you're most comfortable with, especially if you don't do a lot of presenting and teaching. I find that like my speaker clients who come in and they speak for a living, they're so comfortable with talking head, with some slides, like they can kind of do anything. But for my clients who are stepping into education like this, who don't speak on camera and do a lot of video work, we really want to make sure that we're giving them fewer things to master. So if it's slides, like we're going to do slides. If it's talking head, we're going to do talking head. Like we're really going to rein back what we put in there because we want to see them be successful and they need to master that one skill before we start using all of these different lesson types. Okay. So that's lesson type. Action steps. What are the specific tangible action steps that they're going to take as the result of every single lesson? What are the deliverables? So workbooks, spreadsheets, all kinds of things that helps the students take result faster. I do believe it is the student's responsibility to get the result by doing the work. And I think it is our responsibility to make that work as easy as freaking possible to do. And I find that that is a balance. That is a fine line to walk. And so we want to provide them with literally everything we can to make it as simple and fast for them. And then finally, upsells. So where inside of the program are we talking about the other things in your offer suite? Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to go to our course outline template so you can see what that looks like. You will get access to this template inside the mini program that I'm building as a result of this video series, which you can get below. So if you want to skip to the end and just like watch the damn micro program, you're welcome to. Just click the link, it'll take you there. It's free. I know, pretty cool. So this is our template. This is what you'll have access to. Okay, so a little bit about this template. It's everything I just told you is included, but it's in columns. I have done this as Word documents for a long time. Like I did this as Word documents for a long time. I actually started in an Airtable and I had this exact thing, but in Airtable. And then I moved to Word doc because my clients, like, it was just easier for them to have access to a Word doc. Than Airtable. But the problem with Word doc and our clients who send us a Word doc of a mock-up outline is like you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and you cannot see the big picture. And the goal of an outline is that you can see the big picture. So then we migrated to spreadsheets and it has just been so much better. Easy to share, easy for other people to look at, easy to see the big picture and where you are in building that big picture. Once you get into the next step, which is building, you're like super in the weeds, super in the details. So you want to be able to like chunk up to big picture and then chunk down to lesson and then chunk even down further to slide or element inside of the lesson. And this is just the best way we found to do it. So course title, I actually am going to come back to that because I think I like to do that at the end after I've done outline if there's not a title already, which right now there's not. Okay, so when we look at these, right, we're thinking about the name of the lesson, what type it is, any ideas or notes the action steps they're going to take, deliverables, where it's being repurposed from. So in this case, like maybe I'm repurposing it from this slide deck, maybe I'm repurposing it from this slide deck. Where's the content I can pull from? And then offer features or additional notes. This is another huge mistake I see people making is they think of their course as separate from their offer. And in some ways you can choose to have very clear defined separation, which makes it easier to repurpose in the future. However, if we're building for a very specific offer, then we want to know what are the things inside of the offer that we can remind students about in the content to bring those things together. For example, if you are doing a group coaching program and there are certain exercises that you would think would benefit them to bring to a group coaching call, then in those exercises, I would have as an action step, like bring this to the group coaching call. Similarly, if there's a certain number of one-on-ones associated with your offer, then you want to think about where in the journey it's the best time for them to activate that one-on-one call with you. And then one of the action steps would be book your one-on-one call. Here's the link. So people are just like, they segment these offer features or offer elements rather than like integrate them, which makes it easier for the students to use them, which makes it easier for them to get results, which means they're going to buy more of your stuff. You feel me, dog? So like that's down here. What I have is the common offer features that our clients have. And so then we'll put them here in a color-coded key. So we make sure like if we're talking about a one-on-one coaching session, we're going to bring it up multiple times in the session of how it benefits them to book a one-on-one coaching session now and then to go do that. And upsells are very similar. It's like, okay, if this would really benefit them to, I don't know, to book an upsell one-on-one call, like an additional one-on-one call. Cool. Then we're going to upsell that inside of lessons. Okay. I'm starting to question if this is like too much for one video, but you know what? I think you're super advanced. I think you're hanging in there with me, aren't you? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So module zero is your welcome module. We always recommend doing a welcome video in here. And we always recommend doing a like how to get the most out of this program video. Now, welcome video is short, simple, to the point. Pro tip, it should be on your thank you page if you can, which you can put that on your thank you page after people check out and buy. You want to hit the next page they go to should be a welcome video with how to log in. Pro tip. Okay, so type of lesson, this can just be a talking head. This can just be, this might be like slides actually. Now in the welcome video, the action steps are usually something like, if you have a community, it'll be introduce yourself in the community. If you have a group coaching program, it would be add the group coaching calls to your calendar. Sometimes I also include something like add time to complete this program to your calendar. So you're helping them remember, like, you're probably not going to finish this all in one go. So you want to add some time to your calendar so that you remember to come back and log in. However, for this program, because it is a micro program, I'm going to say like binge watch this bad boy. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say binge watch this. Binge watch this program to get the full picture. And then, yeah. So, and then how to get the most out of this program, we always review the framework here. Now, one thing I will mention is for micro programs that are really short, you're talking about 60 minutes of content. Sometimes you can combine welcome videos and how to get the most out of this program videos. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, just because the point of this program is like short, sweet, snappy, to the point. You get what you need, and then you execute what you need. I think that depending on where you are in your course building journey, you will need some things more than others. So my goal with this would be like, okay, if you, right, as the person who's gonna binge watch this micro program once I'm done with it, if you go in and binge watch, you'll then be able to pinpoint, okay, like, these are the lessons that I need to execute. Maybe you go back and rewatch those, you pull the resources for those. It's less about you need to do everything in this program and more about choosing the actions that are going to move the needle the most for you. So I'm going to pause. It is 7:06 a.m. Do you see that? 7:06. I don't know if you can see that on my screen. 7:06 a.m. right now as I'm pausing, and I'm going to come back once I have this outline complete for my program, and I will let you know what it did. And I'm back, and I look different because I've showered, and unfortunately, my Zoom recording failed after that last screen share of the outline. So this is a re-record and I look different. How's that for some variety in your day? Okay, so I did finish up the course outline around I believe it was 7:31 or 7:32. So it did take me about 25 minutes to do, considering I talked to my husband for a few minutes in there as well. And I want to let you know it's not going to be that fast for you. Okay, we've built over 100. I've done this like over 100 times for different products and programs, and you get faster at it with time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the outline that I created. Okay. So you can see here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lessons. I have 7 lessons and I completed what kind of lesson each one is, some ideas and notes. What are the action steps, those deliverables I'm going to provide, where I'm repurposing them from, and then offer features, upsells, mentions, other additional notes. So first, I decided to combine how to get the most out of this program with the welcome video. I think I can do that here. And I thought about my ideal client. I thought about how they would best take this program, meaning like what's the order of operations they should go through in order to get the most. And I do think the best way to do that is first have them binge watch it all the way through so that they get the full picture and then go back and choose the resources and the lessons that are most applicable to them. There's so many different ways that a program can be taken. And at the end of the day, it's your student's decision. This is why I'm not a fan of drip content, is like these are adult learners and they should get the opportunity to take the program that they paid for kind of however they want it. There are a few exceptions to that rule, but as a general guideline, I think people should be able to do what they want with the program that they've paid for. That being said, it's always good to give them the best case scenario from your opinion as the expert. And in this case, that is to binge watch the program and then leverage what's most important. You'll see my deliverable here is a course in a week checklist. I don't have this visualized yet. Like, I don't know exactly what this is going to be. And that's okay, especially in the welcome video, because it will come together once I've written all of these. I always write the welcome video last. As a team, anything in module 1, we leave that until the end because now we've gotten into the nitty-gritty and the weeds of every other lesson. And so to bring it all together makes much more sense at the end rather than trying to predict what it's going to be at the very beginning. Okay, so I don't exactly know what this is going to look like, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. Lesson 2, make bank with program design. This is where I'm going to bring in this framework idea. I'm going to use that to teach and as a way for students to evaluate what they currently have and meaning the resources that they currently have, the content that they already have that they're going to repurpose. I want them to know how good is that content they're already planning to repurpose. So they're going to make a list of it and then use something called the transformation evaluator, which I haven't built yet, but I will, to determine their opportunities for improvement. So I'm excited about that. It kind of gives them a chance to see what the gaps are. And even if they just did that, like if you guys didn't do any of this stuff, but you just knew what makes good training content, and then you took one action step and applied it to everything else you ever taught, like that's a win. That's a huge win. So that's second lesson. Third, we're going to architect the framework. I do talk here about types of frameworks. I'm going to give examples of frameworks from our clients. I am going to provide a template in Canva of frameworks, so it's easier for people to just use designs that are already created and fill in their content rather than trying to design from scratch. I have a client framework archive. So all the, the over 100 courses that we've built, I have a slide deck essentially with every single framework. So that'll really help me generate those examples. And then I also am going to do a mention to another free resource I have, which was a trademark and copyright trademark uh resource workshop with my lawyer, Sarah, and she really goes into like, here's how to protect yourself from copycats. Most of the time, if I have a client trademark something, it's the name of the framework because we want that to be simple and sticky. And so I think that's a good place to mention, hey, I have this other thing. If you want to go deeper, you're welcome to. Here's how to get it. Next lesson is about architecting the course outline. I am going to give them this course outline template. And I'm also going to do a mention to my favorite human design business resource, Kaylee, who from Expanded Flow, if you follow her on Instagram. I find that human design is a tool that helps us work with our clients. We use it for all of our clients who are open to it, and we use it for the entire process. But it really is so helpful on this course outline day because I find people get stuck here because they're like, oh my God, what if I do the wrong thing? And in truth, like an outline is only needs to be 85% good. Like shit's gonna change. Even when people hand me like this outline that they love, that they think is perfect, like I look at it and I'm like, probably 40 to 50% of this at least needs to be changed. And so it's just a mindset around course outlines that is one, it needs to be 85% good. Like you got to let go of perfectionism or you'll never freaking get this done. And then two is if they're struggling with making decisions, like go do some human design, a little human design research. And, Kaylee's my recommendation for that. So that's the next lesson. And then building lesson scripts. I am going to include a modified build checklist, which is our internal document that we use to build every lesson. I have never put this out there before. It's one of those things like you're always like, oh, should I give that away for free? This is one of those things I'm like, should I give that away for free? And I am choosing to trust that yes is the answer. Uh, and I am going to upsell to Done For You services here because this really, all product design is our genius zone, but this is what I think we're most known for is we literally hand you video script slide, everything that you need to go and actually put this thing out in the world. I find like frameworks and outlines, they generally have musings around that, especially because I have people give me their course outline or what they think is their course outline. But then they get into actually writing lessons and it is so overwhelming. And then they call us, they're like, I just don't have the time to do all of this work. So I'm going to do my best to make it simple and easy using our build checklist. And then, of course, yeah, I am going to, upsell you to my Done For You services. Because, like, spoiler alert, y'all, this is a lead magnet. I don't know if you realize that. But this is just a really extensive, super juicy lead magnet. That's what this is. Okay, so that's that lesson. Then I'll go into top 5 ways to record your program and give some equipment recommendations. That's a hang up people have, and just talk about you actually have a lot more options than you think you do to record. So I'm going to review those. And finally, how to choose the course platform, which I'm going to provide as a written lesson because I can just literally lift that and drop it right into the in the course portal. And also because I have a YouTube video series about this, like a 3-part in-depth YouTube video series about how to choose a platform. I give my recommendations and I don't think I need to recreate it here if I've already done it well enough somewhere else. I am going to do another upsell. This is like an idea. I have no idea if this is going to go anywhere. This is just me trying something. An upsell to a Loom review with recommendations. So when you get to this part, you'll see we have a system and like a checklist and a process to figure out what you need out of a course platform before you go and find it. So it's like we help you build your shopping list before you go to the grocery store. And if you can hand me your shopping list, I can tell you what platform is best going to be able to provide everything on your list. So this is almost like a shortcut because instead of you doing your shopping list and then finding the research on where to get those things in one place, I can just do it for you. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I'm excited about it simply because I have people call me about this like all the time. And I just think this will help even more people who don't know me personally get that answer that they're looking for. Now, the last thing here I mentioned is I'm going to do this as a private podcast feed. So you will be able to access this on it, like in wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple or Spotify or wherever. And I want to, if you're going to do features like that or offer elements like that, however you look at it, you want to make sure that it can be multi-purposed in that way. In this case, that means when I'm filming these videos, I have to be cognizant of the fact that there's going to be some people just listening to this who are not actually seeing my visuals. Now, in the podcast player, I can add slides and notes so that they can see the visuals. And I also want to be cognizant of the fact that they might not be seeing what I'm seeing as they're listening. And the other thing here is if I am doing a written lesson based on an article I have, then it needs to be voice recorded so that if someone's listening in the podcast app, they can actually hear it. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be there. So I'm thinking about having one of my girls on the team voice record it again to like get leverage on some of this project, which I recommend that you do too. Like if you have a graphic designer on your team, great, use them. If you've got tech people on your team, great, use them. If you've got people who can, if you've got like coaches or staff that can do some of this recording for you, great, have them do it. I think, like that's okay. We don't have to be so precious about our content. Real talk. We don't have to be so precious about our content. Like I get that you are the product, and I'm also I just see how usually in the multi-six when someone's in like multi-six figures generating, they like start to they realize they don't have the time to keep doing it all themselves in the product area, especially once they hit 7. And if they're like still holding on to the fact that like they are the product rather than they are the expertise, and the expertise helps other people learn the expertise, and so they're not the only one who has to teach the expertise, like scaling becomes like you are the bottleneck in every way, shape, and form. So just know, like, depending on where you're at, maybe it's all you. And if it's all you, then like Godspeed, you can do it. And if it's not all you, then, you know, business owner up and get some leverage on it. The other thing I was going to mention about this is I came up with like a couple rough titles: course in a week, 7 days to course creation. There are 7 lessons, so that lends itself well to like 7 days. I'm also doing this as a 1-week series, like the documenting behind the scenes of how I do this. So I think that it's a little meta, and I could play with that idea. So I'm not confirmed on the title yet, but I do at least have a couple ideas. When I end architect days, like we want this to be, again, 85% good. I want my action steps and my deliverables. Like I want this on lock because everything else is reverse engineered from these pieces. I also want like decently good names of lessons. If there are modules, I want module titles, at least options available, and then same thing with titles and framework names. So all of the naming stuff, I want at least, if I'm not confirmed on something, I want a couple of options that I can play with. Now, in this case, I didn't break it up into multiple modules. I have 7 videos. I'm just going to do it as one module. And then if there's any bonus content, I can have a bonus module as well. So that is it for course outline.